Hey everyone, welcome to today's live. We are here with Harvest Wellness and we're going to be doing this with our grow group, which is all about growing your tower garden. And I'm going to be showing you guys all about what it looks like to harvest your plants today. So when it comes to your plants, there comes a point where harvesting is no longer edible. Your plants are going to start tasting bitter. And I wanted to explain that. I hope you guys can hear me too. I have a mic on because I'm out here in the yard and I hope you guys can hear me because my yard is close to the road and it can be very loud sometimes with cars driving by. So let me know if you cannot hear me. I'm going to keep both the chat and my microphone on and look at both of these at the same time. So bear with me 1 second while I get this set up. I'm going to look at the chat. Okay, so we're going to be talking about harvesting your plants, and there's going to come a point where they start to taste bitter. And this is called bolting. And so I want to show you guys the signs of what it looks like to have bolted plants. And I've got two cameras set up here so that we can do two at the same time. But I'm going to show you what it looks like when your tower garden actually starts to bolt. And so the three signs for bolting are going to be, number one, flavor. Your food is just going to start to taste bitter. I had this happen actually just 2 days ago. I was making a salad and I took a bite and it just tasted awful. It tasted super bitter, not good, not that sweet, crunchy lettuce that I was used to. The second sign is that you're going to have an elongated stem. And then the third sign is going to be your plants are going to start flowering. So let's get over here and start looking at an actual tower. I'm going to take you off of here so I can show y'all with the camera what it looks like on the tower garden. Let's see if I can turn this around. Trying new things today. All right, so let's look at this closer up, what's happening. So first off, I told you that it already tastes bitter. It has a bitter flavor to it. It does not taste good, especially on this lettuce right here. It looks beautiful, but the greens, what's going on here? That is not good. It's bitter now. Very, very bitter. Ugh. I do not like it. And the second sign is that this stem, can you see how elongated it's become? It's not short and close to the tower anymore. This one also here is starting to get elongated. For some reason, this lettuce though has not bolted yet. It's still okay. It's not too bitter. Tolerance and heat and daylight, the amount of hours of sunlight that you're getting on your plants will in fact change whether or not it's bitter. And so this one has been planted. It's now been about, I planted these in February. So these have been in the tower garden for multiple weeks now. This is a pretty long time to get a grow season out of these. The other signal that will let you know that they are bolting is the fact that we have flowers growing on here. These flowers are, there we go. This is a signal that the plant has bolted. It's ready to start dying, and eventually seeds are going to start coming out of these pods. So I could actually harvest, this is my arugula. I could start harvesting arugula and take the seeds out of here. I'm not sure how to do that yet. We're learning, but that would be pretty cool to do that. Hello. And yeah, I'll give you guys a good view of this here. So this is what a bolted plant looks like. You can see all the flowering components are coming out of it. And it's time for this to be yanked out. This has been in here since February. This is a really old plant in the lifespan of edible plants. And let's see what else we got going on here. It's time for me to harvest this cauliflower. This needs to come out. This is definitely ready to be actually taken out permanently from the tower. And yank this out of here. On here. So this is ready to be taken. Is ready. cycle here too. You can cut your cauliflowers and your broccolis and your lettuces and they will regrow. But at this point, there's no more there's no more growing season for cauliflower at this point. So I'm gonna put this over here. And for the most part, most of this towel is ready to be cleaned out. Like we've got all these pods opened up and it's time for me to start putting some new plants in there. Herbs like basil and mint, they really don't ever reach like a bolting stage. They really can just keep growing and growing and growing. I have been growing this now for like 4 months and this mint is going to be just fine. It does not need to be replanted. We also have growing over here some basil. I put that in just recently. Basil is a wonderful summer plant that is able to tolerate the heat. So this red leaf cabbage is just about ready to come out too. Some of these stems in here are getting really long. Right here you can see this is getting quite long from the base. And it's starting to shoot off other leaves off of that. That means that it is just about ready to be totally taken down and harvested. So I'm going to show you guys me putting together some new rock wool for planting seedlings. So I've got this set up over here and I'm going to be putting into the tower garden. I've got some nasturtiums, which are edible flowers. I have got some honeydew or some cantaloupe. I'm going to put that in the tower. Never grown cantaloupe. I'm very excited about this. Got some Roma tomatoes and some butter crunch lettuce. We're going to put this in. And I've got the rock wool. So I'm going to tilt this down so you guys can see the process over here, what we're doing. It's so tricky trying to get it into the camera. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. This is so funny trying something new on here. Y'all, we are making it happen. Okay, so I'm going to plant a couple of cantaloupes into my tower garden because now that we're in this next season, I need plants that are heat tolerant. And I live in Georgia, so I need some pretty heat tolerant plants to work for this. So I've got my seeds out, little cantaloupe seeds. They literally are the seeds that come out of a cantaloupe. And I'm going to break off my new rock wool. And I'm going to place this down so y'all can see what I do. So I'm just going to put my seeds directly into the rock wool, just like this. I think 4 cantaloupe plants is plenty. I'm not exactly entirely sure if I want to keep them growing in the tower garden for the summer or if I'm just going to start them in there and then replant them into my dirt garden. I have a dirt garden too, and I might do that just because cantaloupes drink up a lot of water. They're such thirsty plants. So I've got my rock wool, and all I want to do is just break these apart like this, and I'll show you putting them into the tower garden, what that process looks like. Next, I'm going to do some tomatoes. And again, going to rip off some of my rock wool and put these down. So aeroponic gardening is very cool because it's a great way to either start all of your seedlings. You can start them growing on your tower garden, and you can replant them. It's also faster growing them in the tower garden because they get constantly hydrated. And it's a great way for people who are maybe forgetful gardeners and you're new to gardening and you need a simple method where you can put it in, it's going to water your plants for you and you don't have to worry about remembering to water them. So I got my Roma tomatoes and I'm going to start some of these also. Oh, we got a little tiny seed bag in here. These must be tiny. For any of you other gardeners out there, are y'all gardening this summer and what are you guys gardening? I'm excited to do a bunch of tomatoes and cantaloupe. I want to make a lot of salsa. We eat salsa very frequently at our house, so if I could grow it, I would like to do that. So I've got these little tiny seeds. All right, putting these into the rock wool. And I'm going to put these into the tower. Save the rest of these. Fold that up so they don't get lost. All right, so I've got my tomatoes, my cantaloupes, and I'm also going to start these nasturtiums. I hope I'm saying that right. Nasturtiums, edible flowers. Apparently they have a very peppery flavor to them, and I love edible flowers. I think they're so beautiful. My brother Wesley gave me these seeds from Johnny's seed, so I'm just gonna, let's do 4 of these. We'll see how these grow. Sometimes seeds go bad after a certain while, and I have literally no idea how old these are, but we are gonna try them out and see if they grow something. And then we're also gonna do some more of this lettuce. So lettuce, you want to get heat tolerant lettuces for your tower garden and just for your garden in general for the summertime. Lettuce really loves the fall, sometimes winter time, but doing it during the summer with a tower garden, you're going to want to either have it partially in the shade or just get heat tolerant lettuces. And I actually have a good bit of shade on my front porch at some point during the day. So I think these are going to do really good out here. I have butter crunch, and I'm just going to plant some more of these here. I'm actually really glad I'm getting to do this live because I've been needing to do this for a while now, and doing these lives helps me to get my tower garden all put together, and so I stay consistent with my gardening. I have loved doing this grow group with our first round of people. This is my first time ever doing this with everyone. And the reason I decided to go live with this on my public page is honestly, sometimes we just need to see what it is somebody is doing and see if that's what we want to be a part of. I know gardening might sound like such a big job. Like, is it really worth it? Do I want to do this? And that's why I'm showing it to you guys on here, to let you guys see that somebody like me, who is an artist, who's not been a gardener for most of her life, is now doing this on the regular too. And you can do this also. All right, so I'm going to turn around my camera and we are going to see this into the tower. I'll put that over there. Let's see how that works. Right, let's do this. So my first ones are my cantaloupes. And because cantaloupe is a viney plant, I don't know if I'm going to leave these in here, but if I do, I want these to grow in such a way that they can flourish and spread out. And I'm on a deck, which means that I can go off my front porch and it can go down this direction. And so I want to put these in such a way where they have space. Much like if you're going to do cucumbers or anything else that's very viney, you want to have a way for it to either go up, like you need a trellis to go around your tower, which we sell those, and they fit on there, or you can do what I'm doing, which is just going to put them down low, and that way they can grow out onto the ground. So I've got here, just just like this. I'm going to stick it into the pod, just like that. So it's in its new space. It's going to water it, take care of it, grow it, and it's going to do great in there. It's going to take off. So that is how you know whether your plants are bitter. Remember the three things. If it tastes bitter, then it's bolted. If it is a long, elongated stem, it's also gone and bolted. And if it's flowering, then it's bolted. So those are the three signs that you need to rip that plant out and start a fresh one. And then you also want to start planting right away. Get your seedlings into the rock wool, put them into the tower so that you can start continually growing year round and keep your tower garden going. Sometimes, though, just one more statement, sometimes you will need to disassemble your tower garden so that you can clean it, get all of the algae buildup out of there. You might have to rip out some of the roots because the roots can get quite long. But the maintenance of it is not very much. Like, I take this apart maybe 4, maybe 5 times a year, if that. This time I'm just going to put everything straight in there and not take it apart and let it grow. And that's something that you can take note of. It's very low maintenance for what you need to do to take care of this. So that is that. If you guys have questions about how to start your tower garden and what to do, then I am here to help you guys through this process. I love tower gardening. I love having fresh food right on my front porch. And I am here to help you guys in the process. Have a great day. Bye.